The human ear is a sensitive and fine-tuned organ with the capacity to hear 10 different octaves, with the pianos usually ranging around 7 octaves. The frequency detected by the ears can be as low as 20 Hz, like a deep, low rumble, or 20,000 Hz, higher than the highest pitched mosquito sound you can possibly hear. The hearing ability is prevalent in many. Ironically, with all this biological precision, human beings still struggle to listen to one another. Studies upon studies within the 1960s shows that humans have fared very poorly with logical reasoning and from bias. Researchers Mercier and Sperber have concluded that the function of reasoning in itself is argumentative, and the skilled arguer does not necessarily look after the truth, but they're looking for arguments which support their truth. Given this debating nature of human beings, there is lots of capacity to learn from two people with opposing sides and opposing views. However, when arguments spiral out of control and becomes more of a personal attack, there must be some things that one must watch out for if they want to have a successful conversation. To understand why arguing rarely results in a harmonious conclusion, one might familiarize themselves with the burden of logical fallacies and also the sensitivity it takes to understand emotional noise. As essayist William Hazlitt said, the art of the conversation is the art of hearing as well as being heard. Logical fallacies. In his post-war classic book, The Uses of Argument, philosopher Stephen Toulmin dubbed a type of conversational model that starts with the end in mind by stating a claim, and the person would continue to support this claim by providing the evidence and the warrants and all these testimonies, proofs, and whatnot to arrive to the claim that they make. For example, one person may say cats are better than dogs, or dogs are better than cats, and they'll give the reasoning why. For example, as this is a religious type of channel, a Muslim may claim that there is a God. A counter-argument from someone who may identify as atheist may say there is no God. That in itself becomes the claim, and whatever they say onwards will go on to support their claim. However, when logical fallacies occur, it is usually due to the fact that the two people are not necessarily trying to explain within a respectful manner. Or if one explains themselves while the other person is trying to openly critique, both sides can be prone to logical fallacies. An example is ad populum or bandwagon appeal. For example, the atheist may say to the Muslim, if you support women's rights, you wouldn't let a religion tell you how to dress. This is called bandwagon appeal. Another example might be, if you are a true American, you will allow everyone to have guns. Unless you're not a true American. Ever heard of that one before? These are actually quite common. Another one is post hoc ergo propter hoc. It is a weird Latin sentence indeed, but what it means is y followed after x, so therefore x caused y. This is a correlation issue. For example, I drank bottled water and I was sick after, so bottled water makes people sick. In the context of, for example, a religious debate gone wrong, the argument may be, I prayed once for healing and then my situation got worse, so prayer made my situation worse. Another logical fallacy is called straw man. This is akin to building a dummy version of the opponent and then attacking the dummy version, or perhaps punching the mirror and imagining that the other reflection is the one being harmed. For example, people who don't support minimum wage increase must hate the poor. Or perhaps in a religious context, if God created everything and there's starving children in the world, then God created children to starve. Red herring. Red herring is a diversionary tactic to avoid the key issues. For example, if everybody became Muslim and paused mid-work shift to go and pray, what's going to happen to the economy? Or, religion is inaccurate because science is better. Saying that to a religious person might sound like the ocean is inaccurate because water is better. Because people who do believe in God will see water as part of the ocean, just as they will see science as part of religion. So dividing the two ideas might not serve any point and might not bring your arguments closer to any type of informational exchange. Another red herring example may be, sure, the mercury level in seafood may be unsafe, but how will the fishermen feed their families? Yes, oil drilling is bad, but what's going to happen to the economy? Genetic fallacy. Genetic fallacy assumes that there is a problem inherent biologically or racially or with the person who is speaking or the item itself. For example, the Volkswagen Beetle is an evil car because it was originally designed by Hitler's army. Or the coronavirus came from China because all Chinese people are just bad eaters. In the religious context, it may sound like, I don't believe in God because people who believe in God are so judgmental and naive. If we are following the Toulmin method, these are not arguments that support the claim at all, but these are rather things that divert and distract. It is natural that one encounters other people with opposing beliefs within their lifetime, and if one decides to share the two opposing beliefs, it is best that they do so in a manner that makes sense and is peace-seeking at its core, not directly attacking the other person, because no knowledge can be truly ever earned through harshness. But we must also consider an important factor of emotional noise. A noise is anything that disrupts the flow between a sender and a receiver, a speaker and a listener. Depending on the channels they use, if they're calling on the phone, the noise might be the fuzz through the telephone wireless connection. In real life, the noises might be something you can't see. If you're delivering a bad news and the person was already bearing something incredibly burdenous within their everyday life, then this bad news received might be interpreted as worse than its actual condition. A mnemonic research, meaning study of memory, shows that within monkeys, music changed the way they perform tasks because it affected their moods. Human beings are prone to this as well, as our environment around us can change how we feel about things and perform things differently. A study on the effects of emotion on memories showed that whenever there is a neutral stimuli, it tends to be forgotten much faster than, say, an arousing stimuli. The recognition accuracy for the arousing stimuli stays relatively the same in our minds. However, it might even increase over time. Another study in humans showed that people remember better when things are associated with emotional times. You're probably going to remember a breakup more than just one day you're going outside on a walk and nothing happens. When the mind picks and chooses what to remember, then your own truth is also altered. When the information retained greatly varies, and two people can even remember one event in different ways, at different psychological angles. At work, when person A is telling person B, hey, can you get this task done as soon as you can, whenever you're available? Person B says, yeah, sure, I'll get it done. Of course, this is very vague, but vagueness sometimes is used frequently to suggest leniency, friendliness, and, down to earth. However, this type of vagueness can create problems down the line. Person A actually meant to say, can you get it done sometime today? And then person B interpreted as, oh, person A wants me to get it done whenever I'm available. Well, I'm available sometime next week, so I'll finish it next week. Person A is thinking on the hourly and person B is thinking on the weekly basis. This time length is different, and this breeds grounds for further arguments and disputes down the line. In conclusion, human beings are almost like radios. Sometimes we can tune into other people's mindsets, or sometimes we just can't. An 81-year-old may not understand everything that an 18-year-old stands for, and a newly divorcee might have problems trying to feel as happy for their newly married friends. This is all due to emotional noise and the things that make us who we are. But at the end of the day, winning an argument means nothing. Winning is a lousy teacher. In fact, the goal should be learning, and in order to learn, we must really, really listen. As philosopher Zeno de Citium has said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we speak.